Hello, my yarny friends. I am so excited about today's pattern. This is our Good Vibes hood with pom-poms. Isn't that cute? This is a super easy and super fun pattern to make. It'll fit anywhere from a 22 to 24 inch head. It is the perfect gift for anybody, whether you're a boy or girl, man or woman, child. All of us are going to love this super cool Good Vibes hood. Now it is made with Premier yarns. This is the Poppy, bulky number 6, and then the solids are the basics from Premier yarns. And I'll put those links down in the notes under this video if you want to go and look at all the colors of the Poppy yarn and the basic super bulky yarns. I love them. They're super soft, but also they work up super quick, and it's also really comfortable to wear. And I think you're really going to enjoy wearing it as much as you'll enjoy crocheting it up. Now you can find the complete pattern with notes and pictures on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make our Good Vibes hood with pom-poms, you're going to need some super bulky number 6 yarns. For today's demonstration, we're using the Poppy by Premier Yarn. This color is called Good Vibes. You can see it has lots of wonderful colors in there. And then we're going to be also using the Premier Basics Super Bulky in Raspberry and the Premier Super Bulky Basics in, I believe this one is called turquoise, I might be wrong, Peacock. We're using all 3 of these colors. We're using this one for the main part of the hood, and then we're using these for the trim, also the pom-poms and the ties. All right, you're going to need approximately 7 ounces of Poppy. You're going to need 4 ounces of each of the basic colors. All right, now these are the colors that I have. You can go to the website on Premier. I'll put that link down underneath this video, and hit that link, hit that yarn tab, and hit the new tab, and it'll take you right over there, and you can see all the colors of the Poppy and the Premier Basic in Super Bulky. This yarn is soft and bulky and comfy to wear. All right, now we are going to be making 3 pom-poms, so you can either use a pom-pom maker or you can make a template like I've made. This is just from a leftover Priority Mail piece of cardboard. It's 4 3/4 inches this way, and I made it long because this is thick, and so I'll need to wind quite a bit in order to make the pom-poms. And I'm going to show you at the end of our video today how to make a pom-pom with this thick yarn and how it will hold securely and be really super cute. I've already got 2 over here made, and you can see we used all 3 of the colors of the yarn. All right, you are going to need a tape measure because we're going to need to measure out the lengths for the ties, as well as you might want to measure your pom-poms. That's totally up to you, and it's always a good idea to keep your tape measure handy on a crochet project. We're going to be stitching today with a 9mm. Now this one is an N 9mm, okay, but it needs to be 9mm. I've got a needle here that's got a nice big eye in it. It is a little bit blunt, and weaving in your ends is a little bit different when you're working with the thick yarn, so I'm going to show you that as well. And then you'll notice I've got my big sewing scissors. These are actually my second pair of sewing scissors, and I bought a new pair, so this one went in with my yarns. Because this is thick yarn, we want to be able to cut that thick yarn. I'm starting with the raspberry. We're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to make 39 foundation double crochets. So we're chain 4, yarn over, go through the 4th chain from the hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through that first loop, yarn over and go through the next 2, yarn over and go through the next 2. And we will be counting this chain 3 here as our first stitch. All right, so yarn over, go in that chain that we made and make our chain, and then finish our double crochet. This is called the foundation double crochet. And you can see it's going to move along really quickly because we're using this really thick, bulky yarn. All right, so we're going to count this chain 3 as our first, and then we stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need to stitch a total of 39 foundation double crochets. I have stitched 39 foundation double crochets, and remember to count this first chain 3 as your first stitch. All right, so now we're going to cut our yarn because we're going to change colors. All right, we're going to bring in the peacock. And chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Our chain 3 counts as our first, so we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. All right, now when I have a join like this on the end, I like to take those 2 ends and just put them together like that. And that just keeps that chain 3 from coming undone. All right, just a little trick I do. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do a back post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over. This is our post, and if we were going around the front we would go this way, but since we're going to go around the back, we're going to go to the back of our work and put our hook 3 through the back post and pull up our loop. Trying to get it where you can see it, and then we'll just finish our double crochet. All right, so now we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. So here's the one we did the back post in, so we're going to go in the next one, and then we're going to alternate this across. So the next stitch we're going to go around the back post, and then the next stitch will go in the double crochet. Now we're working on the back or the inside of our hood, and so when you turn it over it'll look like this, and we'll have those post stitches. All right, so we're going to do this across. We're going to alternate a back post double crochet, then the next stitch is a regular double crochet. The next stitch is a back post double crochet, and again this is how it looks on the inside, and this is how it looks on the front, and we're going to repeat this working all the way across this row, alternating a back post and a regular double crochet. And it might seem a little bit more tricky with the thicker yarn, but once you get going it won't be tricky at all, and you'll start moving along nicely. Back, front. We did 1 double crochet in the next, which gave us 2 double crochets, and then we alternated our back posts and our regular double crochets all the way across. And again, this is what it looks like on the front side. And when we get to those last 2 double crochets, we're just going to stitch a double crochet. Whoops, I missed the stitch. There we go. We're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those last 2 stitches. All right, so we still have 39 stitches. We just alternated our back post and regular, but when you turn it to the front, of course, it looks like front post, which is exactly what happens when you work them on the front of your project. Okay, when you work them from behind, they're back posts. When you work them from the front, they're front posts. We're going to cut our blue yarn, and we're going to grab our poppy, and we're going to bring that in. Snug that down. Chain 3. And now we're going to double crochet in the double crochet. And I'm going to make that little, what I call a stay knot here, just so it keeps the chain 3 from coming undone. And it'll also help us when we go to weave that in. All right, so what we're going to do is we're on the front of our work now, so we're going to stitch a front post around that back post stitch. And then we'll stitch a regular double crochet in the next double crochet. So for this row, we're alternating front posts and regular double crochets, where on the previous row, we did a back post and regular double crochets. There we go. Regular double crochet in the regular double crochet. Front post double crochet in that back post from the previous row. And we're going to alternate this working all the way across our row. And I really love how these 3 colors work together. I think it's really pretty. And I know this yarn here is really busy, so I'm going to take my time and make sure that you can see what I'm doing, okay? I know it is a busy yarn, but it's a gorgeous yarn and well worth the effort. All right, so regular double crochet, front post double crochet around the back post from the previous row, and then we're going to alternate all the way across until we reach those last 2 stitches, and then we'll stitch a double crochet in those last 2 stitches. This is how it looks on the front, and this is how it looks on the back. I continued across, alternating my front posts with my regular double crochets until we reach the last 2, and then we're just going to stitch a regular double crochet in those last 2 stitches. And this time we're going to chain 3 because we are not changing colors. Now, just to give you a reference to how this is going to work, this is the front of the hood. Okay, and we're going to stitch our rows back in order to form the back of the hood, and then we'll stitch up the back and then add the bottom and finish up all of it. But I wanted you to see how it was working out and what exactly it was we stitched right here. All right, so we've chained 3. We're going to turn our work, and on this row, row 4, we're just going to stitch a double crochet in each of the stitches. So our chain 3 counts as our first, so we'll not stitch in that first one, but go right to the next one and stitch a double crochet. And so we're not doing any front posts or back posts. We're only stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets or front post double crochets all the way across. So no alternating, just 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets across. And you're going to find this is going to stitch up really fast, and it's going to be super fun. One double crochet in each of the stitches, working all the way across. And again, this is the back, and when you turn it over, this is the front or the outside of our hood. I have completed row 4. I stitched 1 double crochet in each of the stitches all the way across. So again, I have 39 double crochet stitches. All right, so we're not going to change colors anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. And so what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 4 for 8 more rows, and that's going to form the hood going back. Because remember, we started with the front of the hood, and we're going to do the back portion, and then we're going to fold it in half in order to form the hood. All right, so we're going to repeat row 4 for 8 more rows. I have completed those 8 additional rows, and that brings us up to row 12. So we have completed those 12 rows. We added 8 additional rows. Now what we're going to do, after this last row, we only chained 1, not chained 3. Okay, now this is the front of your hood. You want to make sure when you fold it in half that you have the right side out. All right? Now we're going to come over here. This is the bottom opening. This is the front opening. And we want to be right here. And we're going to go in that first chain 3. And in that first double crochet on this side. And pull that loop in. And chain 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to be stitching across, joining the back of the hood together. All right, so everything's lined up. We'll go through the next stitch on this side and the next stitch on this side, and we're going to stitch a single crochet. And we're going to do this all the way up the hood to close up the back of our hood. So we're stitching a single crochet in each of the double crochets, going through both sides in order to close up our hood. Okay, a little bit so you can kind of see. Here's the back. This is what it'll look like on the inside. You'll see those lines where we're connecting. All right, now if you would prefer, you don't have to single crochet this. You could do whip stitches or another method. I just really like this. I want to do single crochets because I want to make sure the back of this hood is going to stay together and not come apart. So I'm just single crocheting right up the back of the hood. So I single crocheted right up the back of the hood, stitching the front and back together. And now I'm going to cut that yarn, tie that off, and I'm going to go inside the hood right up in that corner, and I'm going to pull that string to the inside of my hood. Okay, and so the next step, before we do the next step, is we need to weave these ends in. So I'm going to grab my needle and weave these ends in. Weaving in chunky yarn is a little bit different than when you're weaving in regular yarn because it is thicker. And we're using more of a blunt needle. So you're going to have to work on it a little bit, trying to get through some of those fibers. And go across, go back. And you'll probably want to leave a little bit longer of a tail of yarn so you have plenty of room to weave that in. We do not want the top or the back of our hood to come undone. All right. And see, it's more of a blunt needle, so you got to push just a little bit harder. And I give it a good hard tug. All right, I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and clip that. And let's take a look. See, nice and secure. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weave in these ends here where we joined our two different color yarns into our third so that it's all nice and tidy, and then we're going to stitch across the bottom in order to bring that in just a little bit so that it fits great. So we have the back all closed up, all our ends are weaved in neat and tidy, and we're going to stitch along the bottom of our hood. And it's just going to bring it in a little bit, make it fit just a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to join our yarn to this corner here. and I'm using color 1 yarn. You can do it however you would like, but I liked going back to the color 1. And we're going to chain 1. Now we need to stitch 48 stitches. Okay? And you need to do 24 on this side and 24 on this side. There aren't stitches to go in. We just have to evenly stitch them, all right? So I'm going to put 1 right here in this first one. 1, 2, and we are stitching single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, go through some of these stitches here, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I've gone about halfway and I've stitched 12. So now I need to stitch 12 more to this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to go in the stitches, not the holes. Sometimes it's hard to find it when you're doing double crochets. All right, that one looks a little bit close. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, get in there, 23, and 24. All right, so I got 24 on the front side. Looks like I need to add in some more yarn there. And so I've got 24 on this side, so I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to work this way on this other side and stitch 24. So we'll start on that first one. Oops, not a slip stitch, a single crochet. There we go. And I'll stitch 24 on this side as well. We stitched 24 single crochets on this side and 24 on this side, so we have 48 single crochets, and then chain 1. Now this next row, we chained 1, we're going to turn. This next row, we're going to bring it in just a little bit in the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in the first 20 stitches. So we'll go right in that first one, and we'll stitch 20. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We stitched a single crochet in the first 20 stitches, and that leaves 4 stitches on this side. And we're going to stitch them together, 2 single crochets together. All right, so we're going to go in the first stitch and pull up a loop. Then we'll go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops instead of 2. So yarn over and go through all 3 of those. And then we're going to do that again. Okay, and so we're done with this side. And see, here's our seam. So now we're going to turn it over, and we're going to stitch the next 2 together with a single crochet together or decrease. And then we'll stitch the next 2 together. So we did 4 single crochet decreases. And that's going to cause the inside of the hood on the bottom to kind of curl in. And that'll help it fit a little better. There we go. All right, and so now we're just going to put a single crochet in the last 20 stitches of our hood. We stitched 1 single crochet in the first 20, then we stitched 2 single crochets together with those last 4 stitches, and then we turned our row to the other side and stitched 2 single crochets together also. So that makes 4 single crochet decreases, and that left us with 20 stitches. So we stitched 1 single crochet in each of our stitches across. All right, so now we're just going to cut our yarn, and we have a little weaving in to do. All right, it's always important to weave in those ends, and so I'm going to weave these ends in, and then I'm going to show you how to make the ties and the pom-poms. I have already completed one of the ties and attaching the pom-pom, and so now I'm going to show you what you need to do to make them. Make sure you make 2 ties. So you're going to need to cut 3 strands, one of each of the colors of your yarn, and it needs to be approximately 42 inches long. 3 strands, 42 inches long, or longer if you want a longer tie. So now you'll take those 3 strands of yarn and hold them together, and we're going to go right through the corner of our hood and pull those 3 strands through. And then we want to make sure they're even, so we'll pull them through. Make sure they're even down here, and the first thing we're going to do is put a knot up here. So I'm just going to do what I call a flip through knot. You just kind of go like this and pull those strands through. I'm sure it has a technical name. It works great, gets it right up there, holds it secure. All right, then we're going to braid these. And I like to keep the 2 strands that are the same colors together. You don't have to. You can do it however you want. All right, so now I'm just going to braid it, working all the way down to the bottom of our strand. Push this up. Braid, 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 braid. Alrighty, now I'm almost to the bottom here. And I'm going to tie another one of those knots. I'm just going to hold it and do another, what I call a flip through knot. Tie it securely and trim. So I already have this one pom-pom attached to my first tie. So I'm going to tie this one on, show you how to do it. You go down here right before where you tied this knot, and you're going to go through with your hook, grab one of those strands and pull that through. All right, then you're going to come to this other side and do the same thing on this side with that other strand, because you want that to be in there nice and tight. All right, and now we're just going to tie a couple of knots. You don't want this to come off, so you want to tie it nice and secure. And sometimes I'll flip that knot this way and tie a couple more knots. It's just a good way to get that to stay put. All right, now I'm going to cut these 2 strands so that they'll blend right in with my pom-pom, and then I'm going to check this. I'm going to put this out like this and see if I need to trim the bottom of that, because we want that to kind of blend in with the strands of the pom-pom. All right, so now I have a second pom-pom, one on each of my ends. So the last pom-pom I need to add is the one at the hood. And of course I've got one ready here with my 2 strands, and it's super simple. Just go up inside with your crochet hook to the point and grab one of those strands, and then come up on the other side right up at the point and pull those in. And now we're going to go inside the hood, grab those strands, and make a couple of nice knots. We want that pom-pom to stay put. All right, and then I'm just going to make a little twist here because I like that knot. Maybe I should take a knot class and learn what all the knots that I use are called. That would be really interesting. All right, so now our hood is complete. It has a nice big pom-pom on the top and a pom-pom on each of the ties. Isn't that cute? I just love it. So now our Good Vibes hood with pom-poms is finished. And remember, you don't have to add the pom-poms if you don't want to, but they sure add some extra fun to the project.